she was so present, so there, and she was almost vibrating. I mean, she wasn't vibrating, but it was almost seemed as if she was. And she I felt as if when I got close to her, that, I was being just sucked right into her world.
And she did this by finding a way to be vulnerable, almost empty the body so that it was possible to pull somebody in with you. She was the one that moved you to move that way, because you weren't imitating anything, you weren't exploiting anything, you were fulfilling something.
She had a real gift of putting her finger on the innards of a feeling, and she was not afraid of dealing with those dark things in herself and in people.
You pull up so high in the center, and when there is no more lift, you go off into space on the side, and it's as though you're being pulled into the air.
It's a balance with movement.
With movement.
And then you would catch that tilt into a contraction.
Yes, and you needed that stretch so that the contraction gave it the dark pull, the opposite.
But it was very interesting that some people who'd been tied in knots and were very embarrassed by anything they had to do physically. The person really emerged through movement.
She used to do this at Juilliard a lot anyway, when she would have people say, 1, and it wasn't from a deep enough place, it would be too much 1 up here, and then finally it would get deeper and deeper from underneath him, a real 1, which was,
made the contraction, exhale.
Right.
The important thing is to put the brakes on as you come around to the front, and whether it's a fist or evoking, spewing forth. It's almost speaking in tongues by now, but it's as you come around, you have to stop the contraction to the front each time.
As she comes in before the duet, and of course you see this characteristic tilt, you feel free to say anything you like.
I tilted so that I ended right on her knee, so that there was a contact there rather than just a single.
So you actually touched and were in front of her. And was the tilt the same? I mean, or was the torso further over?
The torso was further over and the leg wasn't quite so high.
I think it's the kind of thing that if a dancer gets the concept, they'll have to make it up out of the same moves, but it will be very personal to them too.
Martha Graham's legacy continues to inspire us through the dances, technique, and memories she left behind.
Even after Martha's death, a great number of dancers and a great number of audience have been drawn to Martha's work. It touches such a universal core in every human being that it can't be denied. People feel it.
With Martha, her life was her work. The work was her life. The technique was her life. The technique was her work. The dances were her life. The dances were her. There was nothing else. It was all one package. And that's the way it was every day, all the time.